Welcome back to OC Street Files. Today, we're not talking about a cartel out in Mexico or some street crew on the block. We're talking about cops. Yeah, cops who turned the streets of Baltimore into their own personal empire. This was the Gun Trace Task Force, better known as GTTF, a special unit trained, armed, and sworn to protect the city from illegal guns. But instead of protecting Baltimore, they became one of the most dangerous crews the city had ever seen. This ain't no movie script. This ain't The Wire. This was real life. And the craziest part, they did it all while wearing a badge. Baltimore had a reputation. Drugs, guns, corner boys, and bodies stacking higher than the skyscrapers downtown. City leaders said they needed a special squad to fight back. So in 2007, the GTTF was born. On paper, they were the best of the best. Hand-picked officers, street smart, aggressive, and built to clean up the city. But behind closed doors, some of them were hustlers in uniform. Wayne Jenkins was the ringleader. Charismatic, smooth-talking, the kind of guy who could sell you a dream and rob you in the same breath. Jenkins ran the squad like it was his own gang. He told his crew, this ain't just about locking people up. This is about getting paid. And so it began. Late-night traffic stops that turned into robberies. Search warrants that turned into smash and grabs. If you were dirty, they'd take your money and drugs. If you were clean, they'd plant something on you. It didn't matter. In Baltimore, when GTTF rolled up, everybody was a target. These weren't petty hustles. They were pulling licks like street robbers, except they had police radios and city-issued badges. One time, they stole $500,000 in cash from a safe. Another time, they robbed a bail bondsman of hundreds of thousands. They'd even split Rolex watches like kids trading candy. Jenkins and his squad had a system. They'd find out where the money was moving, stash houses, couriers, dope boys riding dirty. Then they'd swoop in, flip the lights, flash the badge, and take everything that wasn't nailed down. And what do you do with stolen dope? You put it right back on the streets. Yep, police officers became suppliers. Some of the same bricks they seized on Monday ended up in new hands by Friday. It was a cycle of corruption feeding itself. They weren't scared of internal affairs. They weren't scared of the feds. Why? Because for years, nobody was checking them. Judges believed their word. Prosecutors built cases on their lies. And the community already knew fighting the cops was a losing battle. When you're pulling in street money, the lifestyle follows. Fancy cars, expensive trips, nights out with bottles flowing. Some of the crew started acting untouchable. They bragged in private about their robberies, laughed about framing people, even joked that they were better at the game than the hustlers they locked up. But the thing about moving grimy is that paranoia creeps in. You start watching your back, wondering who's talking, wondering if the guy sitting next to you in the squad car is loyal, or if he's wired up for the feds. Every gang has its weak link, and the GTTF was no different. In 2015, after Freddie Gray's death and the protests that shook the city, eyes turned harder on Baltimore PD. Whispers about dirty cops weren't whispers anymore. The feds launched investigations, wiretaps, surveillance, hidden cameras. The same tools the GTTF used on the streets were now pointed directly at them. By 2017, the game was over. Indictments dropped like a hammer. The headlines were brutal. Elite gun unit accused of robbery and extortion. Jenkins and 6 of his squad were hauled into federal court. The evidence was overwhelming. Cash stashed in walls, testimony from their own victims, even their fellow officers turned witness. Wayne Jenkins got hit the hardest, 25 years in federal prison. Others got anywhere from 7 to 18. And just like that, the so-called elite gun trace task force was finished. But their crimes left scars that still bleed today. Hundreds of convictions overturned, families destroyed, trust in the police shattered. The GTTF weren't gangsters in blue, they were gangsters, period. They wore badges, but they played by the same rules as the streets. Get money, protect your crew, and silence anyone who stood in your way. But the lesson is the same no matter what side of the law you're on. If you build an empire on lies, greed, and betrayal, it always collapses. This was OC Street Files, the Gun Trace Task Force, a crew of cops who forgot their oath and chose the hustle instead. What do you think? Were they predators hiding behind the law, or just another product of a broken system? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for the next case, because here, nothing stays hidden forever.